Hello, this is Jennifer with another segment of Encouragement for Your Soul. That's right, encouragement for your soul. Well, I have a question. What has been irritating you? I don't know about you, but there has been times in my life that I have been so irritated about things. For one, now I'm going to go back. This is just a little side note because my kids always laugh about it and me. So when I get sleepy at night, I'm usually happy, funny, go lucky person all the time. But when I'm sleepy, I get so irritated. And anyway, you can't I don't like people to say nothing to me, don't touch me. I'm just irritated. But I realize even that is because I'm irritated into a place where I know at that time I need to go sit down and get some rest. It's irritating me into a place, into a position to do what I need to do to feel better, which is go sit myself down and go to sleep. Just go lay down. So a couple years ago, anyway, it was a bigger situation than sleep. So I was so irritated by something. And to the point I would wake up and it was irritation. It was there. Things around me. It was just irritation, circumstance, situations that that I was going through at the time. And so at the time the irritation, it grew literally as if it had legs and everything. It grew and I would get headaches and I would sit like, Lord, I just don't understand. And in that time, when I was so irritated, and I didn't know what was going on, later I moved from the place that I was. And when I moved to this new place, that's when I realized, oh my God, you know, sometimes you're irritated because God uses everything. You're irritated so you can be pushed or provoked into the next level or the next place or the next position that God has for you. So here we go. You always know there's always a definition. So the definition of irritate is the verb definition is annoyed, impatient, or angry. And that word provoke. Now, the biology word for definition for irritation is the powerful one. You know, for me and for this segment, it just meant so much. It stimulate to produce an active response. Stimulated to produce an active response. So, 1 Samuel 1:6 says, because the Lord has closed her womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. This went on year after year. Now, let me tell you about the story behind this. This is the story of 1 Samuel chapter 1 about Hannah. Hannah, this is one of my favorite stories because I felt like this is what God gave me after I had moved from that place. And ever since then, it has been life for me, food for my soul. Anyway, Hannah was married to Elkanah. Now, I could be saying that wrong. You know the word, sometimes the names in the Bible, but it is spelled Elkanah. So if I'm wrong, then get it right. Elkanah. She was married to Elkanah. So Elkanah had Hannah was his wife, and he had a wife named Peninnah. Now, could be saying that wrong too. Her name is Peninnah, but that's what I say, Peninnah. So he was married to Peninnah. Peninnah, she had children. Hannah had none. So he would go up. They would go up, to pray and sacrifice. And he really loved Hannah. Peninnah, not saying he didn't, but Peninnah would pick with Hannah. She would provoke her and irritate her because she could not have children. And she probably knew that Elkanah really loved Hannah, you know, too. So that could have been something. But Elkanah would give Hannah a double portion. He would give Penina and her children, you know, pieces, you know, bread to give them. But he would give Hannah a double portion because he knew. So one time they went up to sacrifice and pray, and Hannah became so irritated. She became so just, irritated to she bitterly cried. She cried and she cried out of anguish, out of her soul, out of the very depths of her soul. So Hannah had went to, you know, pray, and the priest Eli, he saw her, and he went to her that she was praying so, you know, out of anguish that he thought she was drunk. And Hannah said, no, no, do not think it that I'm drunk. She was crying out of her anguish because Hannah could not have a child. Now, that was not the case for me with the child, but I was so irritated by some things and some people. Just irritated. But Hannah was irritated. She was stimulated to produce an active response. Penina was used to irritate her because she irritated Hannah into a place of position. A place of position where Hannah, she got on her knees. Hannah cried out of anguish to God. Lord, see me, your servant. If you do, she said, Lord, if you do, I will give him back to you for the rest of his life. I will give him back. A razor will never touch his head. That's what happened. She was irritated into position. So what is it that's irritating you? Because that very thing that's irritating you is what is going to be used as that vehicle to take you to the next destination, to the next promise, to the next position that's in place for you. What is it? Think about it. What is it irritating you? Because I know if I wouldn't have never moved, I wouldn't be in this place that I am. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But I had to be irritated, stimulated to produce an active response where I hit my knees and I cried out to God, oh Lord, help me. And I told him that day, if I wake up, Lord, I would give my life. I would dedicate my life and everything to you. And I have since that day, as Hannah did. But I was irritated into position to respond. So, whether it's that coworker on your job, whether it could even be a house or a car, maybe it's time to look for another one. Maybe it's time. Let that irritation do what it's doing to stimulate you to produce an active response. Maybe it's time for you to respond. Maybe it's time for you to wake up. What is it that's irritating you? Write it down. Pray about it. Because that's the very thing that may be used, the vehicle used, that's going to take you to the next destination, the next position, the next place, the next promise. Allow that irritation that you're feeling that's going on to produce a seed for you. See, Hannah, later on, when they got back, they went back home, you know, because they used to go away and go up to worship. When they got back home, Hannah laid with her husband. Later on, Hannah produced, she gave birth to a child named Samuel. Do you hear me? Samuel, one of the greatest prophets. And the word Samuel means because I asked the Lord for him. What's irritating you and that you didn't prayed about? That you can name it your Samuel. Because I asked the Lord for this. Because I asked the Lord for a business. Because I asked the Lord for a way out. That he provided me a way out. Through producing a business. To producing a ministry. Out of that very thing that was irritating me. Allow him to use that irritation, whatever it is. You might not even know what's irritating you. Sit down, focus, and you get to the Father. What is it that's irritating me? It was plain for Hannah. It was Penina. She was irritating her, but she just didn't know. She irritated her into a position, into a place for her to respond. And that response gave birth to a blessing that kept blessing to the great prophet Samuel. Wow. What is God causing you to give birth to? What is that irritation going to produce in your life? Well, I don't know about you, but I pray that you will know what's irritating you. And also in this season, as always, I pray that God will meet you at your need. And I pray that the peace of the Lord will begin to guide you to your promise and your destination. Be blessed and be encouraged. And come back for encouragement for your soul. Thank you.